Hello everyone, welcome to week 4 of our 12 weeks of Christmas countdown. I am Ruth with Ruth's Stamping Corner and I'm so glad you're joining me today. This is the project we're going to make today. It's so cute. So it is a shadow box. Now shadow boxes can be a little bit intimidating, they can be a little bit tricky, but I'm hopefully going to take out all the guesswork for you. And then there is a little Bath & Body Works hand sanitizer in here and it fits nicely and snugly in there. And then the belly band, theoretically, hopefully. I'll get it back on. It should, there we go. Slides right back on. So that is what we are making today. Now, I feel like my lighting, I'm trying to fix my lighting. I have some new camera setups, and so I feel like my lighting is a little bit wonky now. You know, as soon as you get used to something and then you change it all up, it's, so hopefully the lighting is not so bad, although I do see a bunch of shadows. I don't know. I might have to play with this a little more, but we're going to have to bear with it today, I think. Okay, but welcome to Facebook Live. We're going to make this in just a second, this shadow box. It is so cute. I do see all those shadows. I don't like them. We'll make it work. All right, let's talk about Paper Pumpkin real quick. This is the November box. You're going to get supplies to make 9 oversized treat boxes with coordinating food safe bags. And I think they said there's going to be 3 different box designs. This is just a little sneak peek. They are so adorable. If you want Paper Pumpkin, make sure you subscribe by November 10th. That is coming up in just a few weeks. We're already approaching the end of October, which is insane. Hard to believe. If you missed October's Paper Pumpkin, I did an unboxing last week, and you can check that out in my on my YouTube channel or in my VIP group right here, and you can see all of the October stuff. All right, guys, tomorrow my November card crate is launching, and it is going to feature the Tidings and Trimmings bundle in the annual catalog. The cards are gorgeous and stunning, and it's actually a Stamp-A-Stack, so you're going to actually make 2 of all of those cards that I just showed you. But all of those details for November's card crate are going to be on my blog tomorrow morning. It's scheduled to go up first thing tomorrow morning. I finally got all the details ready for that. All right, this is what we are making today. This amazing little shadow box that has the Bath & Body Works Christmas morning mimosa sanitizer in here. Now, I loved the pink and I love the little ornaments, and so I thought we're obviously going to have to pull in the Wonder and Whimsy suite for that. So here we are. So let's start with our box though, because the shadow boxes can sometimes be a little bit intimidating. So let's just get those out of the way. So let's start with our box. So you are going to need a piece of cardstock that is 8.5, no, sorry, let me go back. It is 8.25 by 9.25. So 8.25 by 9.25. I'm off. 9.25. 8.25. So you're only going to get one of these out of your cardstock, but I think it's worth it. I don't think that this is going to be a gift that you really mass produce. This is a little bit more labor intensive, so I think you're going to maybe select who you're going to give those to. All right, so on all 4 sides, you're going to get your Simply Scored out. You are going to score at 1/2 inch. No, let me try the other side. 1/2 inch, and all the way down. Let me check my notes. 1 3/8. I have all my measurements marked here, but I'm checking on my notes too. 1 7/8 and 2 3/4. Now I have all of this written in the video description, and they will all be on my blog in about, I don't know, give me like 40 minutes after the video is done. So 1/2 inch, 1 3/8, 1 7/8, and 2 3/4. All the way around. So you're just going to keep going. So 1/2 inch, 1 3/8. 1 7/8 and 2 3/4. So we have one more side to do. So we're going to rotate it one more time. So with our Simply Scored, it is so handy to get these the little markers that come with it. They really help out when you're doing kind of the same score lines over and over again. All right, now we're going to do some partial score lines. So we're going to put it back on the short side, on the 8.25 inch side. And we are going to score down to the second score line. So we have a 1/2 inch score line here, and then we have another score line here. So we're going to score down to that second score line. And we are going to do that at 3.25, stop at that second score line, and at 5. Again, stopping at that second score line. Then we're going to turn it all the way around to the other side, the other 8.25 inch side. And we're going to do the same thing, 3.25 and 5. So now on the longer side, on the 9 1/4 inch side, we're going to do some more partial score lines, but this time we're going to go all the way down to that 4th score line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to go all the way down to this score line, and we're going to do that at 2 1/4, which is right here, 2 1/4, all the way down to that 4th score line, and that's where we're going to stop. And then at 7, we're going to do that all the way down to the 4th score line. Again, rotate it all the way around to the other 9 1/4 inch side and do the same thing. 2 1/4 and 7. Now remember, all of these measurements are in the video description, and they will be on my blog, so don't worry about writing them down. I know that's a lot of numbers, a lot of measurements, but don't worry, they will all be on my blog. All right, we're going to do some folding now then, just along all of the score lines that go all the way across. All those partial score lines that we just did, don't worry about those. Those are more cutting guides. We're just going to go through, and you really want to use your bone folder on these, because it's going to really be beneficial when the box goes together. Your bone folder really makes a big difference. All right, all of the full score lines, just ignore those partial ones for right now. Move this out of the way. Okay, one more side to do. Now we are going to be doing quite a bit of trimming on this. Now I already, let me see, where's the next full one? Here we go. I have a template already trimmed up so you can kind of see what we're going to be doing. And on my blog there will also be a picture of the template, including where to put glue. So you can always just pull up my blog and pull up the template of what we're going to be doing. Okay, so this is what we're going to trim. We're going to trim this down to this. I hope you can see all of that. So we're basically going to be trimming out quite a bit of each of the corners. So I'm going to walk you through all of it. So grab some good scissors, and we're going to start on the shorter ends. These are the 8 1/4 inch ends. And so we have, I don't know if you can see those partial score lines right here. So we have one here and one here. These are going to be cutting guides. So what we're going to do is cut down them, and we're going to cut just down to where they stop. Now where they stop, we're going to cut from that score line diagonally down to the next corner, the next score line. So you're going to put your scissors in, just kind of angle it down, and just do one cut down to that corner. So I hope you can see that. I hope that makes sense. Now we're just going to follow that other score line and just cut all the way down to the next score line. Okay, so that is what we have cut so far. All right, now we're going to come along here, and we have the partial score line that we went all the way down to that 4th score line with, and that one we're just going to cut and take this whole section out. Okay, so that has been completely removed. We're going to take out that whole section. This is going to be a little glue tab. I'm going to fold this out of the way. This is a glue tab. So we're going to I'm going to angle cut this, and then there's 3 more pieces here, and we're just going to remove those. Okay, and while it's folded, I'm just going to angle cut that too. And now this is a glue tab. So this is what we have so far. So this is what we're going to do to all 4 sides. Now also on this little side up here, we're just going to angle cut that a little bit. And this one right here, we're just going to angle cut that a little bit. Okay. So that is what we have. We're going to do the exact same thing to the opposite side here. So up that partial score line, we're going to cut down to that 2nd score line. We're going to get our scissors in there, cut diagonally, and then go back to cutting straight down to the next score line. We're going to turn it on that partial score line. We're going to cut all of that away. Okay, and then we're going to cut this away, these 3 out of here. Cut that at an angle. I'm going to cut that away, fold this up, and cut that at an angle. Okay, let me come in here, our little end piece here. We're going to cut at an angle, and then we're going to cut at an angle. Okay, so this is what it should look like so far, your first half. So we're going to do this exact same thing. We're going to flip it and do it on this side. Okay, so let's do that another couple of times. So those partial score lines are your guides. You're going to cut down that. Once you get to the end of that partial score line, stick your scissors in, go diagonally to the next score line, and then just cut straight down to the next score line. Okay, just like that. Rotate it again to that next partial score line and just cut all this off. Okay, now we are cruising. So if you've never made a shadow box before, I encourage you to try. It's always fun to just try. And then just take your time. You know, you may have a couple bumps here and there. The first time I'm making boxes, I always do it with scratch paper or with retired paper. So my template here that I have, this is actually retired cardstock. I always save my retired cardstock and I use it for stuff like this, for templates or for my first go at a box, because you never know if they're going to be successful, and sometimes they're not. This one I actually had to redo the measurements a couple of times before I got it right. So, you just never know. So it's always a good idea just to have that retired cardstock, or even just some older cardstock that maybe you're just not using anymore. Just keep that on hand, and that'll help you out. Okay, I'm talking, I should be paying attention. All right, down to our little tab here. Cut that off and cut this tab. All right, let's make sure we have tabs cut in all of our sides here. Those are done. This one needs to be done. Okay, so let's lay this flat. So this now looks exactly like our template. So I'm going to lay this flat so you can see what we've done. We've trimmed everything out. And actually, I think I'm going to bring in my template just because you can see all of those score lines. So you can see that we've trimmed up all of those tops. So that is what we've done. So the template, I actually have a template with the Blushing Bride one on my blog. It'll be on my blog as soon as that goes up, so you can actually just look at a whole picture. All the gluing is going to be done on the back. So you can see on the back, I've put where we're going to put all the glue. So let's bring back in our Blushing Bride piece. I'm going to grab some tear and tape, and we're going to apply some adhesive. So on all of these outside tabs, there's going to be a strip of glue. And you can use any strong glue. You can, Tombow glue will work. Any kind of glue, strong glue. Make sure it's really strong. The Stampin' Up Plus would be great. Tear and tape is really good. So all 4 of those outside tabs. And then on all of these inside tabs, we are going to put some adhesive. So one more right here. Okay. So that is all of our glue. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and we're just going to remove all the adhesive from all of them. That'll help us out just to get everything off. All right. And one more down here. Okay. Get all my trash out of the way. So at this point, we're putting it together basically just like a box. We're going to, this cut line with this score line, we're just going to match them up. Just like this. We're just going to go around and make a box. So we're going to do the same thing. This cut line, that score line, and we're just going to make a box. Okay. So this part is a part that you're used to. You know how to do this part. All right. Now we have all of our little flaps. So what we want to do is this flap right here. I hope I'm going to explain this correctly. This edge of this flap is actually going to go, let me fold out all of these out of the way so we can see. The edge of this flap is going to go all the way inside right here, so down into the corner. So what we want to do is I'm just going to fold it just so that it's right in place right there. I hope you can see that. Just so if you're holding this, it's folded on the 1, 2, the second score line, and then you just want to, actually, you know what? We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to start with the bigger flaps. Let's start with the bigger flaps. So this edge down in that edge. So fold on that second score line. It's going to be touching the bottom of the box. And then you're just going to kind of pop it into place. Just down like that. Just kind of push it down. Make sure that the bottom will adhere to the bottom of the box here. Make sure that it's nice and flush. So we're going to do that again. Fold that second score line. Make sure it's pushed down there. And then you're just going to kind of push the side down just like that. Just push it down, make sure everything goes nice and flush against the bottom of that box, and give it a little push. Now the reason we want to do these shorter flaps second is because these angled score lines are gonna go right over on top, and it's gonna give us more of that like framed, picture framed look. Okay, so the short ones you're going to do last, but you're going to do them the same way. Fold on that second score line, and these will pop into place a little bit better because we already have the side ones. So you're just going to push that down, and just make sure that the sides, make sure the corners just kind of pop into place. Just push that down. You can give it a little press on each side, and then the same way with this one. Just kind of make sure that those corners popped into place just like that. So you have a nice deep box. It almost kind of looks like a little bathtub, I think. But I don't know, that might just be me. But it looks like a little bathtub. And then your sanitizer should fit right in. Now, this is perfect for Christmas, for these Christmas sanitizers. This is what it was designed for. But you guys, Bath & Body Works does not change the size of their bottles. So you can use this box, these sanitizers, all year long. That's not going to change. You're going to keep making these all year long. So that is our little box. Now, if you're worried that this is going to fall out too easily, if you don't, it's a tiny bit loose. I mean, if I measured this down to like the, 30 seconds of an inch, it would be nice and snug. But I don't do measurements like that. So if you're worried that it's a little too loose, just put a little glue dot on the back of the Bath & Body Works sanitizer, stick it in there, and it won't go anywhere. But once you get your belly band on there, it's not going to go anywhere anyway. So, all right, so that is the basic construction of the box. I hope that was informative for you. I hope you understood that. I hope I didn't lose anybody. All right, let's work on the actual stamping of the box. All right, so I have some white piece of paper here, just some scrap piece of paper, and we're going to stamp in Memento ink. And this ornament, this little ornament stamp, is actually from the Whimsical Trees stamp set. So it's this stamp set. This is in the holiday catalog. We're using this stamp, and we're actually using this greeting too. Now there are dies that you can bundle with it. Save 10% when you buy the bundle. The dies are amazing. I love the dies. And we will be using the dies today. We'll use the little coordinating ornament dies. So we're just going to stamp this in Memento a couple of times. We want 2 ornaments. The lid on our ink there, and then we're going to color it. So let's start with Misty Moonlight. I'm using our Stampin' Blends here. I'm going to start with my dark, and I'm going to color this bottom ornament. The dark, we're just doing simple coloring. These are tiny little ornaments, so you don't need to do a whole lot of shading. So this dark area here is going to be Misty Moonlight, nice and dark, and then we'll fill in the rest of it with the light. And that's it. We're really not doing a whole lot of blending here. We're just gonna color these in. Just real simple. You can go crazy. You can do a lot of shading if you want. But again, this area is so small. I don't think that it's necessary, but you can color it however you want. You can also just cut images from the DSP if you want to do that too. All right, our next color is Polished Pink, and I'm going to start with the dark, and we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to color this middle section with the dark, and whatever, DSP or whatever you're using, you can customize these to whatever. And again, you can make these year-round, so you can make these maybe for Valentine's Day or for teacher appreciation. You can really go crazy. Then with the light, we're just going to fill in the top and the bottom. And if you want to do shading, you absolutely can. All right. Our last ornament, we are going to use Mint Macaron. Love these colors. The Whimsy and Wonder DSP that I'm going to share with you in just a minute. When I saw the colors on it, I was like, that's me. Those are my Christmas colors. I always use pink in Christmas cards. I just love it. So I'm starting with the light this time, and I'm just coloring the entire ornament with the light. With the Whimsy and Wonder DSP. It is my favorite DSP. I love the colors. The dark, I'm just coming in for that little snowflake on the ornament, just giving it a little highlight there. And then finally, for the little tops of our ornaments, I'm going to use some light smoky slate just to add like a little silver cap on them. Just real quick, no shading, no blending. That's it. That's all our coloring. Super quick, super easy. So we're going to trim these out with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now there's 3 little holes in the top of the die here. You just want to make sure that you line up those strings in those holes. You can see through those holes if you tilt it enough. You just want to make sure that those strings are lined up in the top of that. Oh, goodness. Okay, I nearly had a little disaster there getting my machine up, but that's okay. So I told you guys in the beginning I got some new lighting, which I'm not, well, I got a new camera stand and the new lighting. And so I'm going to really have to play with it because I'm not liking all the shadows that it's coming up. So I'm going to have to work with the lighting. But I also had to rearrange my desk. And so things are not where they're supposed to be. So there you go. Perfectly cut out. Cute. So let's cut out the other one. So anyway, when you get used to working with stuff in a specific place, it's hard to adjust. And so we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm not one that's accustomed to change very good. So when it really affects my day-to-day life, I tend to always go back to the regular. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But I do need to work on the lighting. I'll get that figured out by Wednesday for our live. All right. And then our second ornament. All right. Now, speaking of our Wednesday live on my business page, that will actually be, I think I'm going to go live half an hour early at 9:30 Mountain Time because my husband has some pretty important meetings that start at 10:30, and so I need to make sure that I am off and out of the office, take my laptop and go work somewhere else for those meetings. We share a office now that he is working from home indefinitely, so we try to just respect each other's spaces. All right, let's finish up our stamping. I have 2 of the little label pieces die cut from, these are from the Hippo and Friends dies. These, I have the largest and then the second smallest one. I love these dies. Even if you don't have the little Hippo and Friends set or the Hippo Happiness set, these labels are phenomenal. Please don't look past these. The labels are pretty phenomenal. So we're using those. We're going to use that little spotted tree from that stamp set from the Whimsical Trees stamp set. Let me get out some scratch paper. And on our larger one, we're going to just go through and add a spotted background. So nobody's ever going to know these are supposed to be trees. It just adds a really fun little textured background. And that was in Mint Macaron. All right, now we're going to stamp our greeting in Polished Pink. Now if you were stamping this, I would recommend stamping before die cutting, but we're going to live a little dangerously, but I would do it prior to die cutting. So it's a little crooked, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. It'll be okay. You know, people love getting gifts. They don't complain about crookedness or anything. They just love that you remembered them. So this is going to fit perfectly right on up here. Isn't that cute? I love how those layer together. All right, before we adhere all of that together, let's work on our belly band. So this DSP I told you is from the Whimsy and Wonder DSP pack. So let me show you what that all looks like. Let me move these out of the way. So this is the entire, it's a 12 by 12 DSP pack. They have, I don't know if you can tell, they have iridescent foil on them. They are gorgeous. I love them. This one I just love. So all of these pieces, you've seen me use this before. These colors for Christmas, these are my Christmas colors. I love them. And then the backs, they don't have the iridescent on it, but a lot of these, this one, they could all be used year round. You don't have to necessarily use it for Christmas. So don't discard this DSP just because it might be for Christmas. All right, so I have a piece of DSP. We're going to use a different one this time. I'm using the Hollies this time. And this is 3 3/4 by 8. And we are just going to wrap it around. So I'm actually, I'm going to take my start in the back, and I'm actually going to line this up almost to the edge. I'm going to give it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge there. And then we're just going to wrap this around. We're going to pinch it as we go. And we're just going to wrap it around, just pinching as we go. I don't like to measure belly bands because you always have to measure, you know, those 1/16 of an inch, those harder score lines. So I just like to go around and pinch. All right, now where we've pinched, we're just going to fold. We're just going to make sure that it is straight top and bottom, and then we'll just use our bone folder to finish that off. This will make sure that our belly band is nice and straight, but we didn't have to do any crazy scoring there. So let's make sure it's nice and straight top and bottom. Give it a little press with your bone folder. And there we go, we have our belly band. So this will wrap right around just like this. And we have our seam on the back and it's almost to the edge, so you're never going to see it. So I'm going to put adhesive here. Where did my tear and tape go? So just put adhesive on the wider in there, just right toward the very end. And peel that off. And then you're just going to wrap this around just like that, and you're never going to really see that where those line up. It's going to be nice and hidden, and this will slide in and out just like that. Isn't that cute? I love this DSP. Love it. Okay, let's put some ribbon on it before we continue to decorate. This is our Blushing Bride frayed grosgrain ribbon. I love it. It's nice and thick. It's pretty wide. This kind of ribbon I don't like for cards, but for 3D stuff, I love it. Now, I did want to mention that if you love that Whimsical Trees stamp set, the bundle, let me pull it back out. If you love the bundle, you get it now, because I saw this morning when I was typing up my blog post, this is on low inventory, the bundle. So if you love it, make sure you get it now, because if it goes on back order, I'm not sure when it will be back in time. Okay, so we're just tying a nice big bow on the, okay, I should have cut this off the spool. We're tying a nice big bow on the side here. We want it on the side because our label is pretty much going to take up the entire front of it. So put it on the side, nice big bow. Okay, that's not so bad. Grab my scissors, trim off the ends, just like that. Oh, I love it. I love this ribbon. It's so pretty. Move that out of the way. So make sure you order. If you need to order, you can go ahead to my online store, use this host code. This is my October host code. All orders will receive a PDF with 3 exclusive projects, and if your order's over $50 or more, I'm going to send you the PDF for those projects. All right, we're going to start with our bigger label, dimensionals. Everything's going up on dimensionals because why not? This is a 3D project, so we are going to take advantage of that. So pull those up. That's going to just go right over the front there. Just center it in. Next up will be our little ornament pieces. And do I have mini dimensionals anywhere? I don't. Let's just cut up some of these edge pieces here. So I am just going to put some dimensionals just on the ornament side of it. The back of it, oh, hello, get this dimensional out of the way. Hello. The back of it's going to go under the greeting piece, so I'm not too worried about getting dimensionals all the way to the top. Oops, it'd help if I took off the backing. There we go. So just dimensional backings up here. Peel those off, and then you just kind of want to stagger them. One's maybe a little bit lower, one's a little higher. Doesn't matter too much. They're all going to get covered up here. All right, so our greeting piece, I'm going to put some adhesive, just some dry adhesive on the bottom, and then we'll put some dimensionals on the top of our greeting piece. I don't know why I'm having such trouble with dimensionals today. That should not be an issue. So the adhesive, the dry adhesive, that's tape runner we put on the back, that's going to cover those little string pieces. And then we'll just lay this on top, just like that. Isn't that cute? So cute. Okay, one more finishing touch and then we're done. We have the opal rounds. These are in the annual catalog. These are like glittered dots. They are phenomenal. So I'm going to go around and just put, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 of these on here. Put one down here, and one there, and then I think one more. Got to do it in odd numbers. There we go. Love it. So that is your little hand sanitizer project. Don't you love that? You can tell me which DSP you like better. This is just the Mint Macaron pattern, and then this is the iridescent holly pattern. But I love it. I love this shadow box. I hope you give it a try. I know that shadow boxes can sometimes be a little intimidating. Give it a try, and you never know. I learned how to make my shadow boxes from Julie DiMatteo. She is a paper pixie. She's a fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. But I love shadow boxes, and so I hope I kind of took some of the guesswork out for you. I hope I made it as easy as I possibly could. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I will go back and answer all your questions. And I thank you guys so much for joining me. So this was week 4. Next week is week 5. I cannot believe we're already almost, well, we're over a third of the way through now. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, I will be live on my business page Wednesday, probably 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So make sure you set your alarms. I'll be sure to post on my business page. And then I'll be back right here next Sunday. Yes, it's Halloween, but we're still doing a Christmas countdown. So I'll be back next week for week 5. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.